1. First, the characters of this story. Be me, K, 24 years old, male, 6'1" tall, a little over 200 pounds though I'm working on it. IT student, Super Smash Bros. Player since SSB 64. Went semi-competitive in Brawl. And karaoke lover, not relevant for this story though. BL, 25 years old, female, about 5'4" tall. My girlfriend of 8 years and an absolute sweetheart. Plays Smash Melee. Is really well endowed and our beard's object of affection. For the love of God, don't be. Smashbeard. Male, reeking of sweat and cheese. A little bit taller than L. Easily 200 plus pounds, but looked a lot more since he wasn't as tall as me. A sore loser. With the characters introduced, onto the story. As some of you may know, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is releasing this Friday. So our student council actually organized a Smash Bros. 4KO tournament in a free room with a beamer, as Smash Bros. Is wildly popular in our study field. Me and Elle play Smash since our childhoods, and when we met each other, we became sparring partners and began coaching each other. I'm maining Ness and Lucas. She plays a very mean Peach, so naturally we are very stoked about playing at my university. We arrive about an hour early and went to register ourselves for the tournament, putting each other down as coaches, which caused some confusion with the organizers since we couldn't have coaches then if we played each other. Then we went into the room to take our seats and started to unpack our controllers. You have to bring your own, so you can't blame a faulty controller. Around 15 minutes before the tournament began, I'm suddenly hit with this rotten smell. I look over my shoulder and see this unwashed kid just waddling towards us. He sits down next to Elle, and within seconds we are internally cringing.
Hey, beautiful. Are you here to cheer someone on?
This is gonna be good. Elle waves her controller and I tell him she is here to play. He scoffs at me and proclaims his certain victory.
Don't even bother. With me here, the winner is already decided.
I roll my eyes. I play a lot of local tournaments at local conventions, and I have never seen this guy, and I can't stand him already. In those 15 minutes till start, he constantly tries to make inappropriate small talk with Elle, while she just looked uncomfortable, asking her stuff like her cup size, measurements, if she was still a virgin, etc. She just sat there not knowing what to say, and when she tugged on my sleeve, I switched seats with her.
Hey, I wanted to talk to that lady.
Too bad she doesn't want to talk to you then.
What do you know, cuck? You're probably only here to get in her pants anyway.
I have no words. Then Elle piped up. Yeah, he doesn't need to follow me like a dog for me to fuck him senseless. If I had drank something at that moment, I would have spewed it out. I could barely contain myself. Elle is awesome. I love that girl. The look on SB's face was priceless. Pure rage, resent, and anger towards me. Anyway, the tournament started, and one by one pairs were called onto the makeshift stage, which were 4 chairs in front, 2 for the players and about 1.5 meters back, another pair for the coaches to play. I know some of these people from studying, but some are completely new to me. I take it all in, trying to pinpoint players' preferences to use against them later, while SB is still making glances around me towards Zal. When my name was called, SB made an attempt to sit next to L, but was quickly shut down when she stood up as well.
Where are you going, my lady? I thought we could continue our conversation now that this cuck has to play.
First, I'm not your lady. Second, I'm his coach and girlfriend. So excuse me while I'm doing my job as his coach. For those who don't know, coaches are other Smash players sitting near the contestants in tournaments, advising players as the match is played. So naturally, Elle is sitting behind me while I play, and I'm sitting behind her while she is playing. I play SB in round 2. Dude took out a girl playing Samus in round 1, while he played Cloud. SB gets in my face when we sit down.
I challenge you for the lady's hand. Do you accept, or have you no honor?
I choke back a laugh. Are you always talking like that? Also, what do you expect when you win? That you can just take her home with you against her will? He's not some prize to be won, you know.
After I beat you into the ground, she will know who the better man is.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you have to tell yourself to feel good about yourself. SB proceeds to get absolutely destroyed. Always jumps out of shield into down aerial and wonders why he gets punished. His first stock is gone after about 40 seconds. His second was a little quicker when I grabbed him into down throw into 3 quick forward aerials into spike with PK Thunder 2. Basically pushing him off the edge and then flinging myself downwards at him. One of my flashier kills this year. Doesn't happen often, but when it does it feels amazing. He calls cheats. Organizer rolls his eyes. I couldn't have messed with their game. He tries to call cheating because L coached me and he had no coach, but gets told off and sent to loser's bracket to determine his final placing. L was also taken out of the tournament in round 2. She got bad luck playing the person who would ultimately win the tournament, but she actually played SB in loser's bracket.
So we meet again, milady. Do not worry, I will go easy on you.
Pfft, don't. You should be grateful if she goes easy on you. SB gave me an angry stare and the match began. It took like 5 minutes, but L managed to fling him out, while losing 1 stock herself. SB is pissed, shouts and raises his hand at her. The audience inhales sharply. I see red and grab his shoulder, sending him backwards onto the floor. The organizers kick SB out of the building while I'm only shouting at him, asking what the fuck is wrong with him. After that, the tournament finished smoothly. I took 5th place while L took 34th. Let's never meet again, asshole. 2. Meet your characters. Me, Siren, 19-year-old white girl who loves to surf, friendly, and at the time was attending beauty school for cosmetology. The neckbeard of this story works at Walmart. Pretty sure it was only a summer hire because I haven't seen him since, thank God. We'll call him Great Value Beard, or GVB for short. I know, really cheesy, but it was the best I could think up. This is from a couple months back, probably sometime around April or May. Now I mentioned earlier that I was attending beauty school, and every once in a while they'd hold competitions. Now mind you, I'm very competitive, so when there's ass to kick I normally go all out. I had a good idea about what I needed and figured what better place to get stuff than Walmart. I figured I'd stop by the one near my house, cause it was on my way back up from school and I got a couple buddies who work there. I grab a cart and start checking things off the list. I make my way over to the cosmetics section and start browsing up and down the aisle, trying to find where exactly they keep the false lashes. That's when he walks up behind me, scaring the living daylights out of me. He's around 6 foot, probably sporting a good 300 pounds, greasy, and a beard starting from his chin down to his mid-neck, and an odd smell permeating under 2 cans of Axe body spray. Textbook definition of a neckbeard.
Can I help you with anything, milady?
Now mind you, I have rarely had any encounters with neckbeards, other than dating one as a 7th grader, but that's a story for another time. But this was my first time ever being called milady, and I'm a little taken aback, but decide to brush over it. Mistake? Yeah, I was wondering if you guys happen to have any false eyelashes. GVB shows me over to where they are, about an aisle over on the corner, and I thank him. I'm looking at which specific ones I want, and he's just looming there over me for a good 30 seconds. This guy could have won an award for standing behind people and freaking them out. I start to get a little grossed out, as I can feel those beady little eyes eyeing me up and down. Is everything okay? I ask, still trying to be polite, and that's when he hits me with,
You know you're beautiful without those on. I think natural beauty is the best beauty. Women who try too hard to make themselves look like someone they aren't are disgusting.
Now again, I'm in beauty school and I love making people feel like their best self. And I have no problem with people having preferences. But to openly say that to someone you've just met, and a customer, I was a little irked. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting dolled up. If they're happy or not, being who they are is what should really matter. Maybe a little bit sassier than I anticipated it, but I just wanted to get out of there. I take the ones I want to use, and just as I turn to walk away, I hear him mumble just loud enough so I could hear him.
It was just my opinion, gosh. This is why I'll never understand women. They're all the same, superficial bitches who only care about appearances.
This is why you'll never understand why you don't have a girlfriend, I thought. Now more than annoyed, I retort. Listen, dude, I don't even know you. I just gave you my opinion. I don't give a damn if you understand or not. I turn back around and get out of there. I continue with my shopping. Luckily, I didn't run into this douchewad again. And yes, I did win that competition. Booyah! And had a ton of fun doing it with everybody. Honestly, I don't know if he still works there or not, because I haven't seen him since. Three. So this happened to me when I was 17 in high school. I'm female and small, skinny, into manga, anime, and comic books. I wasn't the most attractive, but I wasn't ugly either, so I was neckbeard bait. I'd also just come out of an emotionally, psychologically, verbally abusing relationship of 6 months, so I had very low self-esteem. My ex would constantly stalk and harass me. So this guy, let's call him D, would defend Milady from her abusive ex. I didn't like him romantically, but the fact he stood up for me caused me to start a friendship with him. Big mistake. Not long into senior year, he asks me to the homecoming dance. I wanted to go, so I figured, why not? I said yes. We meet up at the dance, but the entire time he refuses to dance with me because he injured his leg. I shrugged it off and danced with my friends. I found it confusing he still went to a dance if he was injured, but I guess he just wanted to be social and see me. From then on, I guess we started dating. I mean, we never actually went on a date, as he didn't drive and never even tried asking me to one, but at school he'd walk me to my classes, hold my hand, put his arm around me, etc. My last relationship left me really fucked up, so I just rolled with it. D wasn't really my type. Tall, lanky, glasses, and peach fuzz of a baby beard. But I figured I didn't deserve more and settled for someone who cared about me, even if I didn't care for him in the same way. We never saw each other outside of school. It just felt like he was an in-school boyfriend, if you know what I mean. About 2 months in, things got weird. D would lie all the time about really stupid things. First, he claimed he'd been working at a bar since he was 15. It's illegal to serve alcohol underage, so I figured he'd just cleaned up or something at the bar, but then he'd go,
"No, I'd serve drinks. They just never asked my age when I got hired."
Yeah, sure. I didn't buy it, but I let it go. And then claimed he constantly had to throw drunk people out of there, twice his size, and how badass he was. And I still let this go. Here's where it got really ducking ridiculous. He claimed he got into a fight with one of the drunk people at the bar, and the guy stabbed him with a knife. But D was somehow magically able to come to school just fine on Monday to tell me this story that supposedly happened on Saturday. But it gets worse. He said he put who stabbed him in the hospital, and he was on life support. A week later, he tells me the knife used to stab him had poison on it. But it's okay, because he was inventing nanobots to inject himself with, so he could cure himself of the poison before it could slowly kill him within a year. At this point, I dumped him because I may have had low self-esteem, but I had enough respect to not date a really bad liar. But the ridiculous lies didn't end then. After we'd broke up, he'd tell people things he knew would make their way back to me. He told my best friend he had been cheating on me the whole time with a Victoria's Secret model. And he told another friend that he only dated me because he heard I was easy and had fucked a bunch of other guys. He also told another friend that he dumped me because he got me pregnant and I aborted the baby. FYI, I never slept with him. I never even kissed him. All he ever did was hold my hand and kiss my cheek a few times in those months. 4. Unfortunately, I am a total neckbeard bait, small, young-looking, attractive, cosplayer, and really into a lot of geeky interests. So I'm usually wearing some kind of geeky attire and accessories in my everyday life. I also work for my local comic book store and frequently cosplay for them. Characters: me, 23 and female. Hero Beard. Annoying neckbeard who won't leave me alone. Superboss. My female manager who's always looking out for the employees, especially the women. This story. So I work at my local Halloween store every year to make some extra money for this season. It's a fun job, and they encourage employees to dress up. Since I'm a cosplayer, I love wearing the store's merchandise. It's fun for me. One day I'm wearing a Wednesday Addams type dress we sell. I'm putting up stock since it's still early in the season, late August. It's not really busy because it's morning and still summer, so it's just me and my manager Superboss. The bell chimes, signaling a customer. Before I could even look up, the stench of bad BO hits me. God, it was awful. However, I turn a ways to greet the customer as we are told to do. Hello, welcome to Hellfreezer's Hellacious Halloween Emporium here, I say in a chipper voice. And oh dear lord, I get a look at him. This guy is around 5'10" with a big gut that his Batman shirt barely covers, with pit stains and all. He has red hair with a messy unkempt beard and acne all over his face. He looked like he was around my age. He spots me immediately as I turn back to stocking shelves, and I pray he doesn't come my way. Thankfully he doesn't. At first. See, because I'm a geek, I'm pretty much the most knowledgeable person when it comes to comics and pop culture characters. And because of my background as a cosplayer, I use a lot of the makeup products myself and know what works and what doesn't. So most people direct customers my way when they have questions they can't answer. A few minutes later, he taps my shoulder from behind and says this, "Excuse me, Miss Adams," referring to my attire. "Could you be so kind as to assist me? Your lovely manager told me you would be able to help me." I cringe inwardly. I force a smile and ask how I can help him. He asks where an item for a character is. I lead him to the right aisle, and then I leave to go back to my stocking. A minute later, he asks me for another item, and I do the same, taking him to the aisle and going back. Repeat this cycle several times, and each time he never actually gets the item he asked for. Every time I walk him to the aisle, he starts small talk with me, and I'm being friendly. He asks me how I know so much, and I tell him I work at a comic store and I'm a geek. Big mistake. Because he gets more and more personal with questions each time. At this point, it's clear he's just asking me to show him where things are to talk to me, and eventually just stands by me as I'm doing stock and talks. He asks for my name, which I just give a nickname that's on my name tag. Herobeard won't leave me the fuck alone, but I'm too polite to tell him to fuck off and let me do my job. He proceeds to ask if I have a boyfriend, but me, a professional, just tells him I don't discuss my personal life at work. He takes that as a no, and asks for my number, to which I say I don't give that out. He asks for my Facebook. Again, I tell him I don't give it out. Superboss sees this going on, and finally, after what felt like forever, calls me over. I think at first I'm in trouble, but she asks if I need help, and I nod my head. She tells me to go in the back and organize the stock there, and she'll come get me when Herobeard leaves. I go to the back, and it's about an hour later when she comes and gets me, telling me the coast is clear. I ask Superboss why it took so long for him to leave, and she says he would just walk around the store and every 5-10 minutes would ask where I was. But when Superboss would simply answer that I was in the back doing something super important, he tried getting my personal info out of her, but she deflected each time. Eventually, he left without buying anything, but on his way out he asked when my shift schedule was, so he could come back and see me. Superboss just told him she couldn't give out that info. I saw him a few more times, but thankfully, I learned to duck and hide when he came in. He stopped coming in after a week of coming in daily to find me. 5. This was my first experience with a neckbeard, and it was everything I could have hoped and dreaded for. Let me introduce some characters. Me, Gator, female, 20, a whole 5'9", of West Chicago sass with curly hair and glasses. A little on the thicker side of things. I got hips and they do not lie. Smokey, my manager and supervisor of my department. We shoot the shit together and complain about all the new people, mostly the teens. And finally, the hero of our story. I will call him Liftbeard for reasons to be discovered later. On to the story then. For a little bit of context, I work part-time in a clothing store, and we always hire a ton of new people for the holiday season. Usually it's either teenagers looking for a little bit of extra cash, but we do find a few diamonds in the rough. I usually work back room, receiving position. For those who don't like dealing with customers, I highly recommend. It's a lot of physical work, but entirely worth it. My morning started out pretty normally. My team and I unloaded our truck, set aside all the merchandise that needed to be pushed out. Then half of us went to work on clothing, and the other half set about cleaning the mess from the truck. Smokey comes up while I'm sweeping and asks if I can push out domestics, pillows and blankets, etc. I say of course, grab a bin and fill it up before going. This is where I come across Liftbeard. As I round the corner into Sheets, I spot the most textbook specimen of neckbeard. I was both overjoyed and yet filled with dread. Never was there anyone of such caliber to be found in my small town. But then again, my small town is in the middle of 4 other larger towns. The only thing connecting us all is one strip of highway. Sorry, I'm rambling. Liftbeard was a short, portly man with a scraggly, pubesque beard that never passed his chin, wherever it was. Wearing cargo shorts, it's winter, classic dad sneakers, a trench coat, and a fedora on top of greasy, dark hair. No Pegasus feathers sticking out, however. It was just your average black fedora. I seemed to startle him when I turned the corner. How, I'm not sure. You can hear the bins before you see them. But he jumps a little when he sees me. That's when I see his shirt. No, it had no anime girl scantily clad on it. It had no wolf howling at the moon. No, what it said was, I survived Boku no Pico. For those who don't know, BNP is a cross-dress lolly trap hentai that involves a 10 to 13-year-old boy and his sexual experiences. It's really gross. I apologize for startling him, though after seeing his shirt I'm really not, and start emptying my bin. He goes back to looking at the sheets, but I can see him trying to look at me every now and again. Now, I've worked retail before and we're trained to recognize social cues for when a customer might need help. As much as I didn't want to get anywhere near this guy, he smelled like BO and cat piss, my customer service training got the better of me. Is there anything specific you were looking for? I'll never forget his answer.
Do you guys have any, insert lollytrap anime title here, sheets?
I'm sorry?
It's an anime, but you probably don't know what that is.
He gives me this scoff and a wave like he was brushing me off. I did go through an anime phase in high school. I watched mostly the mainstream ones though. Death Note, Black Butler, Free, etc. And while I have fallen out of watching it religiously like I used to, I did still enjoy the occasional episode of My Hero, plus Ultra. Now and then. I made a poor decision in defending myself. Anime, you mean like Orin Host Club? Or what about Helsing, Soul Eater? I bet you'd like Madoka Magica. The beard gaped like a fish, and with my best customer service smile I grabbed my bin and rolled away to the other side of domestics. I maybe got to kitchen gadgets when I felt the ground shake. Glasses come falling off of their shelves and people dive to the floor as the building quivers. Okay, none of that actually happened. But Liftbeard did almost knock over the display of Christmas dinnerware as he tried chasing after me. He was yelling,
"Wait!"
and
"Hold on!"
as he waddled down the aisle. I only stopped because of habit. Yes, can I help you with something?
You watched all those anime?
Yes, all except Madoka.
Oh.
It appears I may have disappointed him.
Oh, you still watch the others, right? You've seen those.
I try to keep the small talk small, as I kept putting away my stuff. I am on the clock and we're not supposed to really talk about our personal lives with customers. Is anime considered personal? I empty my bin and start going back to the stockroom, all while Liftbeard is still talking to me. He follows me all the way to the doors where I have to stop and tell him, "That's nice, but I have to get back to work now."
What time do you get off?
There was no way I was telling this guy when I got off of work. I had about half an hour left on my shift, but I was not telling him that. I'm sorry, I can't say that. His face falls like the weight in his jowls is too much.
Can I at least get your number?
No.
Facebook?
No. I'm inching my way through the back doors now, where a very big sign says, "Employees only." I'm sorry. Sir, I'm not allowed to give out personal information. Enjoy the rest of your day. I ducked into the back room as fast as I could, hiding behind racks of clothes and peeking out to see if he had left. I could see him looking through the window to try and find me. Ugh. I find Smokey and tell her about what happened, asking if I could take my 15 then, and then go back to pushing home later. She lets me go, and says she'll keep an eye out for Liftbeard in case he tries to come into the back room. I tell her thanks, and use the door closest to the break room to escape. Luckily, I don't see Liftbeard again for the rest of the day. Little did I know, this wouldn't be the end of my trying times with him. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Neckbeards in the Wild, number 18. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. You know, that guy's story number 3 really should have gone to Ray Palmer if he needed nanites. Ah well, with that, I'll bid you adieu, so until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.